Justin of the Auto Expositor, this 31st of July 2015, and ISIS was countered in Quebec City yesterday with an anti-ISIS convention with 20 different countries that came here with about 4 hours notice, and we'll get into that later. But they stayed at the Chateau Frontenac and had a convention there on anti-ISIS and how to control them better. Now, I'm going to show you something all along this park, but there's a whole bunch of statues of people in history. This is Dante Alighieri of the Divine Comedy. And as you can see here, O sovereign light, which you are so, which lifts you up so high, over the mortal thoughts, the thoughts of the mortals, I guess you could say. Retake a little of my spirit, of what you seem to be. Oh, what you seem to be. And render my language, my language so strong that a spark of your glory can arrive to the next generations. Interesting. Let's go. It's kind of hard to translate it word for word, and plus I'm a tête carré. You see, one thing about this place is that it's really about establishment. Okay? The word establishment is deeply rooted within this place. Quebec City has been a capital since its inception in 1608. It is the capital of New France. It was the capital of New France. Then it was the capital of Lower Canada. Then it was the capital of the province of Quebec, which it stands today. And you know, nothing says establishment quite like 2 checkerboard 8x8s right inside of your city walls. Interesting, huh? The reason why I'm walking in this direction, it'll just be 1 second, I'm going to zoom in. Boom! You're going to see that head right in the center? Well, kind of. There's some people leaning there. I'm going to wait for them to leave, and then I'm going to talk about what that is. You'll be really surprised. And then we'll get over to Chateau Frontenac. By the way, I hope you're enjoying the prettiest city in North America. There's a little bit of a generational gap for you. Speaking of, maybe a war we've forgotten about. To those sons in Quebec who gave their lives in South Africa while fighting for the Empire. The Empire. Now let's take a look at those people who did. I'm not trying to laugh about lost life, no matter how long ago it was. But as you can see here, it is quite the short list. At which most of them, with the exception of a couple, we're not French. Exactly. Quebec. I don't know if you know much about any of the South African wars. Totally Masonic controlled by John Cecil Rhodes and his De Beers and Rhodes Scholarship plans to take over the world in a one world order through a secret society. Yes, you could look that up if you have the time. That's called the Cecil John Rhodes Confessions of Faith. All you have to do is look it up, and it's right there for you online. It is his quotes, ready to say. And ladies and gentlemen, not by the power of commerce, art, or pen shall our great empire stand, nor has it stood, but by the noble deeds of noble men, heroic lives, and heroes' outpoured blood. And as you can see here, you have the torch. I'm not sure if that's wheat. I don't think it is, but I think it is meant to symbolize it. If anybody understands why, and there would be one of the other reasons why I think that is. By the noble deeds, huh? How about controlled by commerce, the art, and the pen? And we are right outside the walls here. This is Porte Saint-Louis. And just before you leave, we have this work of art. As you can see, 2 swirling arcs. On one side, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Delano. Whatever. And then on the other side here, I'll get to that now in one moment. That's Winston Churchill. So these two pawns played World War II like a fiddle. And they actually came here at the Chateau Frontenac, just like the anti-ISIS guys did. And that was a meeting, I forget which year it was. It was during World War II. And we'll actually be visiting there now in one moment. I'm going to show you. This is Rue Saint-Louis. But as you can see here, they've already marked their place. That this is a meeting ground, folks. Who's going to wake up to it? I'm going to have to translate this later. Ah, there we go. In 1943 and 1944, the President of the United States and the Prime Minister of Great Britain, Winston Churchill, they led to Quebec, I guess. They led in Quebec 2 conferences that determined the issue of the Second World War in Europe and in the Pacific. So there's a little thing about Quebecers from Quebec. They believe their place is cooler than Montreal. I love Jeff Rock. So I think I'm gonna have to go in direct competition, man. You give me Côte de Neige, I give you Saint Louis. Top that, bitches! And we're going down Rue Saint Louis. One of the nicest streets. This is actually the oldest house in Canada. Aux anciens Canadiens. Sorry, guys. And this is the Consulate General of France. Trying to get a little close up there on that. And here we are, Chateau Frontenac. This is where they met, man. It's a pretty swanky place on the outside. You know, it's not really as swanky as you think as you go in there. I mean, there's some places that are like, I don't know, it's like 27,000 or something, 2,700. Like, they have this one suite, it's the Jimmy Carter, and it's like, it's a fortune to rent out. And it's like not even, it's just like a nice apartment, you know? And like for one day, it's like, what I make in like a month. Oh my gosh. Anyways, that's Samuel de Champlain. He is facing northeast, and speaking of his face, if you want to look this up, his face was actually made up. Well, not made up. It was taken from a banker, the son of a banker from Italy, I believe. And there was a fire in Montreal, and it burned down a whole bunch of historical records. So when they went over to Paris to get the new France records once more, this guy said he found the picture of Champlain, and he knew it wasn't. So this guy's face, as you can see right here, well, maybe you can. It's a hoax anyways. Busted. And I'm at Terrace Dufferin, home of the Chateau Frontenac, and the big obelisk where they believe that Champlain lived. This is Victoria Park. This obelisk is a tribute, essentially, to Montcalm and Wolfe. On the other side, you will see W-O-L-F-E. They were the two people, the French and the English, that fought against each other for the control of Quebec during the French and Indian War in 1759, at which the British overtook the French, I believe it was in the September month, by climbing up the cliff that is just beyond those gazebos there. We have been here before. As you can see, there is a beautiful view to the Saint Laurent. This is in Latin. I don't know if anybody can read this. I'll put this up for a quick second. It's pretty washed out too. There is a in memoriam. I do see that. Momente in memoriam. I don't know. It's very hard to see. But this is Chateau Frontenac. This is where they came in through the back doors there yesterday, where we were told around 12 o'clock on French Radio Canada, the CBC version in French, where they were coming at. That was around 12 o'clock that they told us. And then the meeting went underway apparently around 4 to 4:20. And they were going to talk about controlling ISIS, at which Canada pledged $8.4 million, which I don't think a cent of it should have been spent, especially under the auspices of a closed-door meeting. But that being said, it was $8.4 million, and that is a ridiculously small amount for hosting an event with 20 different countries, of which I will have all the links that I can find below, and there will be another video where I sort out all the little consistencies, number one, and why I think that I could almost predicted this could have been coming. And I'd like to cover a little bit more on that later, but I want to let you know that the last one, which was number one, the first meeting, that was in France. That was in Paris, the capital of France. It always, well, I believe always has been the capital of France. I'm not sure. But in Quebec, this place has always been the capital of New France. And I strongly believe that this is the starts of something really big being rolled out. To have your first meeting in Paris, the next one in essentially the new Paris of their colonial empire way back in the day. We'll talk more about that later. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the scenery. This has been the Ottawa Expositor.